And now, here's your host of Shaping Success, Wes Tankersley.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to Shaping Success. I'm your host, Wes Tankersley, back again. Morning coffee. Sorry I missed Monday. If you had a chance to go check out the uploaded show, it was with my friend Gege Wilds. Has an awesome story. Was here for Pay It Brewing, made a beer for him. And so I just uploaded that one for Monday on the podcast side. You can actually find that on YouTube too if you want to go check it out. It is there somewhere. Woke up Monday morning, wasn't feeling it. It's kind of funny. It's that time of year where allergy season is just insanely crazy for me. And it just gets a little bit rough. And I wake up in the morning and I didn't sleep very well and super congested and all that crap. So pollen's flying around and all kinds of stuff like that. If you are here, go check out, make sure you go subscribe to YouTube, Shaping Success with Wes Tankersley. Nikki is over there right now running the room or going through there, and there are, let's see, we got any people? She's the only one in there right now, but we're running you live on TikTok as well too. So we appreciate y'all for being here. Michelle has hopped in over there on TikTok too. There is a conversation going on over there and here, and we try to bounce back and forth between the two. A little recap of what's going on with me. It's kind of funny. What I'm going to talk to you a little bit about today is about judgment of people, and kind of ties into what's been going on. So, last Friday I had someone call me and say, "Hey, I have a former student that I coached. He's 25 now, so it's been a few years. I haven't been a teacher for 5 years, and this was my first teaching job. So I've known him for almost 10 years now. Coached him from his sophomore year, his junior year, and then I went and taught at another school and coached at another school. But it was funny. I had these issues with." Well, before we hop into that, kind of what he was doing, his dad owns this excavation company, and I told him, hey, they came over, they did my driveway this winter, and I wanted to put a hole in the ground and put a trampoline in it for the kids, because, it's just easier to have it that way in the ground. And then I talked to his dad a little bit, and they have one in ground. So they came over here with a little mini excavator, dug this hole, we wrapped the trampoline, stuck it in the ground. It was kind of it almost took about 8 hours to do this whole process of getting this thing in here so that it could be safe. So it's just above the ground and the kids can jump, in there. But when they came over and they did the driveway before, it was funny because we sat right here in this room and I was talking to his dad, who helped me quite a bit with the field and making it look nice when I was coaching him, about how much I changed his kid's life and how much I meant to him for doing that. And it was an interesting thing to me because a couple days later, you get up on that high, right? And you're like, so, that's one of the things about being a teacher that was really cool, was the one kid that came and you changed their life and you did something for them that made them change the way that they thought and the processes and the things that they did and the pride they took in things. Because I'm a kind of a stern guy, but I expected a lot from them and they got a lot from me. So that was kind of the way that it worked. And I had some people over here, just after you get on that, you're like, this judgment thing, this is the way it is, blah, 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 blah. And it seems like it's really annoying. It's like, it's always family, right? People who don't know you. But when I was coaching, I had a kid go, well, you're yelling at me. And I tell you what, they always thought that I was yelling at them. But the tone of my voice never changed. It was exactly how I talk now. And I'm looking at them and it's very matter-of-factly. And I had a conversation with them. Hey, you need to do this. Hey, you don't do that. This is what we got to do. And I don't know what my demeanor is. I don't know what the issue is, but there is something about me that people always think that I'm yelling at them. But it's just who I am. And it's funny because my daughter says the same thing to me. You're yelling at me. You're yelling at me. And I'm not. I'm just asking her to do something like this, right? Like I'm talking to her just like this. You need to go clean your room. You need to go take a shower. You need to do this. You need to do that. And my tone doesn't change. I know when my tone changes, but when I am yelling, kids are always like, quit yelling at me. And you're not yelling at them. That's kind of the way it is. They, for some reason, when they hear someone from authority ask them to do something, they get to that point. And for some reason, I give that off. TJ says it's basically a father figure. It's not yelling, it's making them better. 100%. So anyway, I had this issue. My wife, we were talking the other day, and she was telling me that someone I was around said the same thing. This is an adult person who said that they don't want to be around me because I remind them of their father. So like I triggered them because I remind them of their father. And the funny thing about that to me is like when you sit there and you think about those types of things and we have I've decided that there's a me problem and there's a you problem, right? And when it comes down to that, when people talk to you like that, when they associate you with something that's negative in their life, that's a them problem, right? Yeah, that's a confuse the sternness for yelling. Anyway, that's a them problem though, right? That's the way that they associate things. That's the way that they look at things. And so they're basically judging you based on a previous experience that they had with someone else. And it was amazing to me to have to listen to it, or to think about that, how people are triggering you. And the problem is that now it triggers me. Like it makes me think like, why? What would you think that's about that? And then I start to think about it. And it's like, we judge people based on a snippet of what we see, right? We don't get to know them. We don't spend time with them. And this person who is making this judgment on me has been around me for a total of probably 8 hours in their life. And they have made this decision that I am who I am based on this 8 hours of who they have been around me. They haven't taken the time to have a conversation with me. They don't know where I'm coming from. If they tell me that I am raising my child the way that they think that they're being raised or they were raised or whatever, and they spend 2 hours with me and my family, they don't have the whole story. They don't see the big picture. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what we're working on. And so they're taking that little snippet and they're making a decision based on that. So my big thing with this show today is to tell you that you have to take that thought process and you have to think about that. And when you are talking to someone or when you are making a judgment, because we all judge people. I think it's kind of the normal thing in life is we sit there and we even though we don't mean to do it. And I say it all the time. It's like, there's only one judge of me, and that's me and one other. And the thing is that you're judging other people based on this short amount of time that you see. And that doesn't mean that they are the person that you think they are. So I want you to think about that. But to me, that is a them problem. They had a problem with someone. And then when someone talks like, or looks like, or gets associated like, or that type of thing, it's interesting to see that's a them problem. That's not a you problem. And it affects me though. And that's the problem that I have. Like, I think that I'm empathetic to that because I'm like, well, what did I do? What did I say? Why would you think that? And I can't think of a reason why. But I need to stop thinking about it because it's not my problem. I'm doing the best thing, and I know, and you know in your heart that you are doing the right thing, then that's what you need to continue to do. Okay, so if you've known me for a while, if you've watched the show, if you've listened to the show, you know that that's the type of person that I am. I have very high standards, and I expect a lot, and if you do the things that I expect, then I'm going to do the things that you expect. But if you don't, it's not, it is what it is, so we have to realize that there are times when we're just like this coffee cup says, F your sensitivity. People can be sensitive, but they have to really think about it. What do we got going on in the chat room here? Nikki says you aren't responsible for other people's triggers. And that's what you have to remember, that those people get triggered by that. That's a great statement there. You're not responsible for their triggers. And that is what it is as well. Yep. That is what we're doing here. Morning coffee. Got to have that coffee. Yeah, you're not responsible for their triggers. That's all there is to it. And I want you to just think about that. We're going to roll through a couple quotes here, because I think that, and that's kind of where I'm at, is about judging people. Like, we have to realize that is not our job to judge someone. And if you have like a grudge or something against someone that you haven't spent a lot of time with, or just by listening to him talk one time, you probably should have a conversation with them. And that's kind of what I'm going to challenge you to do. Go have a conversation with them. This person has spent, like I said, a total of probably 8 hours of their life with me. They don't know me. They don't know who I am. And it drives me insane, but that's okay. I shouldn't care about that. And Nikki says, you care. That's the problem. I care too much what other people think, and I shouldn't. And I'm working on that. And we need to start to realize that just because someone thinks that doesn't mean that it's true, right? And this is kind of where I'm going like this. And this is, I'm not a big fan of Demi Lovato, but it's like, you don't know me. You know my name, but not my story. Now, I don't know this person's story, and I don't, I've heard the type of things that they talk about, but like the negative things that they say about this person who triggered them makes me sit there and go, so you feel that way about me. You feel that way about me, and you spent 8 hours with me. You spent a lifetime with that person. You don't know who I am. I trigger people all the time. Michelle says I trigger people all the time. Before you judge someone, walk a mile in his shoes. So you really need to get to know the person before you start doing that. I like I said, again, it's like judgment is one of those deals. You have to make decisions a lot of times based on the judgment. You have to think about, like where they have been and where that story comes from. And that's where I'm going to challenge myself, is to talk to this person a little bit more about that and get uncomfortable myself, because I don't think that it is really my problem. Empathy, empathetic, empath. That's kind of where I'm going with that. It's like, it's one of those deals where you have to realize that. And that's why I think that I'm kind of going that way with empathy, is the fact that you need to be willing to understand their side of the story, but then also encourage them and let them know that, I'm not that person. Don't judge. This lies right into it. Don't judge everyone else by your own limited experience. So you have a limited experience with one person, and then you make that judgment based on just, you hear a trigger word, you see them, they look like them. Maybe they have a beard. Maybe they have brown eyes. I'm looking right at myself as I'm saying these things, but like, just because they wear their hat backwards doesn't always mean that it's the same, that they're that same person, right? This is the last one we're going to leave you with right here, because I think this is a great one, because I think that this is what it is. Like, you have standards for yourself, right? And I deal with this every single day, because my standards are much higher than other people's standards, right? Typically, there are a lot of people who are searching, who are trying to be better. And I tend to be around those people. So a lot of times when you're sitting there and you're hanging out with me, I'm going to go check that out. That book is going to be on my Audible, The 4 Agreements. I wrote that down right here from One Drink Wednesday, if you guys haven't followed me over there. But you don't have to judge the whole world by your own standards. Not everyone is like you. Okay? Not everybody is like you. And that's all there is to it. We have to realize that even though we have these high standards for ourselves, not everyone else does. And just because you have those high standards doesn't mean that you can't have them. And just because everyone else doesn't mean that you can't, that they have to be the same as you. I will tell you this though, as you start to search for those people, just like I was talking about here, if people are here, if people are in this room right now, typically they have found some reason to be around me, and they've liked my content. They like who I am. They like what I'm doing, and they are interested in that. So that's it. Okay. That's all there is to it. Not everyone knows you, but those people who don't know you will kind of disappear, or don't care to know you will kind of disappear, or judge you will disappear. And the people who like you will be around you and want to be around you. And those are the people you need to make sure that you have in your tribe. The people who support you for whatever you do. That's all I got. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. We got a couple good book recommendations in here, so I'm going to check those out. I listen to books looking for inspiration. If Buddha was married, if Buddha was married, I'll try that one too. I wanted to say thank you to my Patreons, Anna Mellon, Nikki Pavlovich, our TikTok subscribers, Michelle, Nikki, Lance, Frank, and the Devil Dog Cowboy. If you guys want to subscribe to TikTok, go ahead and do that. We've got 5 looking for 10. And if you want to join the Patreon, go to patreon.com/Wes Tankersleep for as little as $2 a month. You get a lot of bonus content and things like that. We will see you Monday. Until next time, I challenge you to find the shape of your success.